Hello, everybody. Today we're talking about, ways to grow your business. Yes. So we're going to go over, we got a short little list of some things that you can do if you're a business owner or a hair pro and you want some clients.
Yeah.
Everyone wants some clients. Clients are good.
Good clients are good.
My name is Todd. I'm here with my wife and business partner, Jennifer.
Hello.
We are both fighting a cold that's been going on for, it feels like, the entire year.
The whole month of March, at least.
God. Just can't kick it. So We're sitting here, we're freezing. Our voices are shot.
Sniffling, sorry.
And we're recording because this is what we do.
We want to help you.
This is episode 79.
So cool.
And I don't even know what we're going to call it. We'll come up with something.
You're good at that.
So you have a business. Whether you own the business or you're working behind the chair is sort of irrelevant. There are some things that you can do that are the same, and there are things that you can do that are different. Meaning, if you're a business owner, there are some things that I don't want to say responsible for, but
you might take on.
You kind of are. Yeah.
More than what your staff would do.
Yes. Like your staff's not going to go out and build a website. You need to, though.
Yeah.
Really. And I don't want to, like, the reason that I'm always hesitant to be like, it's black and white, but it's 2023. You need a freaking website.
Oh, yeah. It's weird if you don't have one.
You need to move. A lot of people don't.
That's weird.
Or they use a Facebook page. And not just in hair, but all sorts of
bizarre
businesses. I'll click I'll search something up and click on it, like a lunch place or whatever, and you click on their website and you end up on their Facebook page, and there's a picture of their menu. Like half of it you can't even read because
that sounds
it's
like a place I'd go
got
to.
a flash. Yeah.
Weird.
It is weird. So what do we want to start with? Facebook? I know you. So look, what are you laughing at me for? No, tell the people.
No, you're like, what do you want to start with? Facebook? I don't know. It just seemed, it was random, but not random. I don't know. I have a cold.
It's first in my notes.
Oh, okay.
I took cold medicine too.
I should have.
I never take cold medicine, but
I took enough of it over the week. So,
anyways, nobody cares about.
Yeah, sorry. Sidebar. Oh,
nobody cares about Todd being sick.
No.
So Facebook is not my favorite, but that's just a personal preference. I do know that there is a ton of value that you can extract from Facebook. And I want you to talk about it because I know that our salon as a whole has had success with Facebook. And we've had some stylists that sort of specialize in, like, their clientele comes from Facebook.
Yes. Yeah.
Not Instagram, not
correct.
Other places, but a chunk of their clientele comes from like Facebook town pages and things like that. So I want you to talk about that. And if we could, I'm sort of saying this out loud because I know we both have colds and I don't want to forget, but if we can give some actionable steps for people too, like where should people start?
Well, you need to have a Facebook page.
True story.
And hopefully the business you either work for, or if you are a business, you have a business Facebook page too.
We didn't for a while because it got flagged for some sort of hate speech or impersonation.
Really
that was the letter I got, was either they made me review the impersonation and the like hate speech, and I was like, none of these apply.
Yeah, it was weird.
And our page was down for months, but anyways,
it's back. So I find it on two fronts, I guess. I'll talk from the business side. So I do find, and this was more recently that I kind of played around with this strategy and it works. So what I'll do is I will post, not every day, but generally sometime during the week, whatever picture I feel like that will get someone to stop scrolling and stop on our Facebook from the business side and just say, hey, we've got appointments available today or this week. Here's the online booking link and here's the phone number. And it is interesting because every time I do that, somebody's calling like, oh my God, I've been meaning to call. And that post inspired them to make an appointment. So from a business standpoint, if you're trying to build your staff and your salon as a whole, it's a great place to do that. And then I tag our staff in it so they can share it. And it's just a free share there. from the side of stylists, and I guess as an owner you could do this too, but what works really well is posting on your town pages or getting onto your mom's pages or getting your clients to tag you when someone's like, I need a new hairdresser in this area, and then you get tagged or your salon gets tagged. And like what I'll do, if our salon gets tagged, I always go on, I say thank you to the person that tagged us. And then I put a personal note like, hey, we would love to see you at Hello Hair Co., and I tag our website or something so they know how to book, or give them the phone number, whatever that looks like. Or I will take it a step further. And on some of those pages, if I get tagged as the salon owner and they are telling me what they're looking for, and I know which stylist kind of specializes in what their request is from the like random town page, I'll tag that stylist in it too. So it just kind of goes full circle. We get tagged, I say thank you, recognized as a salon, and then I tag a staff member. And I know one of our stylists, she's a stylist barber, she uses the town pages and mom's pages so much. And when she's active on them with her work and what she does, she draws in a ton of clients, to the point where even, I think it was last Friday, she was tagged in something and she's like, if you want to come in today, I have an opening. And she got a client and she stayed late to do it. Like she really, like that's her like hustle on that, and she loves it and it works for her.
All right. I have a few, I guess, follow-up questions or
Sure.
Points I want to make. One, you said about tagging and then replying to people. How important do you think the engagement is?
I think it's very important.
So you're not just posting and then ghosting?
Correct.
Okay.
And when I get the tag, because a lot of times the town I'm in, the people that know me are like fellow, Litchfield resident, owns a
fellow
salon.
Litchfield resident?
Or something like that.
No,
like,
it is true. I've seen the posts. Yeah.
It's, has a salon and they tag the salon too. So I guess you could just let it sit out there. But to me, to follow up on the post, and I thank the client that tagged me in it, and then to reach out directly on that post to the person that posted it, like, hey, we would just love to see you. And I think there's just it's kind of the new way you meet people now, right? Like through social platforms. So that's just kind of my like, hello, nice to meet you. And this is, where you can find us.
Gotcha. And none of this is paid, right?
Correct.
Because I know we've had people in the past that have played around with paid ads on
this is
Facebook
all
and Instagram.
Really just, it's kind of the, I guess, 2023 way of getting referrals, right? I don't know if it's 2023. I guess it could be any year. Somehow I wanted to put that in there.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever. Facebook. All right. So what else can people do on Facebook? Are there any other ways? I'm legit asking this question. What are some other ways that people can find clients? I guess if you identified where like the type of client that you wanted, so I always try to take things a step further.
Yeah.
And I know
it really is
I know
important.
you don't like me for that.
No, I think it's not that I don't like you for that. I think sometimes when things feel like they have some steps, most often people don't want to do it. They want the easiest solution. I don't want to say, the word I sometimes use is like, people are lazy. So whatever's the easiest way to do it, I'm going to do it that way. So when you start to be like, you really have to define the perfect client that you want. It is extremely important to do that, and you will be way more successful if you can do that. But I don't think majority of people want homework. So they're like, nah, that's not for me. And they're missing out. So they should take what you're going to say. But I guess if not, then you could post kind of randomly and you're just sort of hoping for the best. And you might get lucky.
So yeah, it's
just kind of, what do you want out of it?
I'm not criticizing it at all, but yes, it's what you just said. Like, if you don't want to put in effort,
right,
you're not going to yield the best result
Correct.
that you could.
And then you're going to be complaining about it, but you didn't really put the effort in.
Right. I want people to understand, if they're like, well, I posted, like Jen said, post on Facebook page, and I did that.
And it didn't work.
Well, What did you do? Did you post on Monday and then go back and check it on Saturday?
Right.
Did you post and someone tagged you in something, but you didn't engage?
Right.
Did you post
consistent
on a group that had nothing to do with anything so it came across as forced. Like I can picture people forcing stuff on social media, like, or trying to take over. Like, you know how people will tag that they're at, like, they'll post a picture of hair.
Right.
And then in the geotag, they tag like, I'm at Starbucks. You're not at Starbucks. And the people that are at Starbucks or looking for Starbucks are not currently looking for you to do their hair.
Yeah.
So I've seen a handful of these cases or case studies, examples where a business has actually reached out to a hairstylist and asked them to stop tagging them.
Right.
Because they're like, you have, like, our feed is now just hair photos and we're a pizza place.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So that's where this is on our list.
Like, I think you have to have a little bit of a game plan. Otherwise, you're just random. And when you're just random, it's like me when I go fishing. So I go fishing with Marley. Like, we go away in the summer, usually at least once. And I'll bring fishing stuff, get our license, and I go fishing. It's completely random. I'm not trying to really catch fish.
Right.
I'm not putting any effort into it at all, except I throw the lure out in the water and I reel it back. If I get a fish, I'll use that lure more because I'm like, oh, that worked. Yeah. But I'm not putting any actual effort.
Yeah.
Now, people that I see around are catching all sorts of fish. But I'm guessing that they have a game plan and a strategy.
Yes.
So that's what I'm trying to get across to people.
That was good.
Can you catch some clients by randomly just posting random stuff in random places? I guess. Maybe.
Yeah. Also, you're not going to know what works and what doesn't if it's that random because you
That's
don't
a great point, and another
have any way to gauge that. Right?
That is a great point because there's nothing that you're doing that's measurable.
Correct.
You're just posting on like whatever page,
right?
You know.
So you can't repeat that like same thing.
There's like a taco place in town, and if you post on there like, "Come to us for your haircuts," like it just doesn't. It doesn't land. It doesn't stick.
I agree.
But that's what a lot of people are doing.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then complaining when it's not working because you're not actually doing.
Well, you're not
real work.
Right. You're not actually doing anything.
Yes.
All right. Let's talk about referrals.
Yeah. Let's.
Real world. Not social media.
Real world referrals.
So
go ahead.
The first thing I would say is to focus on, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but to focus on your best clients.
I was going to say the same thing.
Because you want to...
Yeah. More of them. More people like them.
You want to copy and paste those people. I want to take my favorite clients that support me, support my business, support what I do, and I want to get more people like them.
Correct.
Because those people are going to tend to be like those people.
Yes. I think that's really important because it's easy to be like, I'll just tell everybody, all my clients, that I'm building my clientele and I want referrals. But why? And
again, I'm going to interrupt you and I apologize. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nope, there isn't.
But if you can take a little more of a focused approach, correct, I think is what the theme of this podcast is becoming quickly here. You're going to have better results. Correct.
And you'll feel more successful with those results because you're like honing in on the things that make you the happiest, right? So by focusing on your favorite clients and asking them for referrals, not all of your clients, the clients that you want more people like them, then you're going to build that clientele that you really want to be around, which makes your job more enjoyable. And you can even say that to those clients, which makes them feel more special and they feel more like part of you and helping you. Like that's not like, hey, I'm asking all my clients to refer people to me. You're one of my favorites and I want more people like you. There's nothing wrong with saying that. It's actually very flattering. And because I really enjoy your company, you have people that need their hair done and they're like you, send them my way. I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think that's cool. And I think that, again, there's nothing wrong with if you wanted to sort of, just put out a blanket or like a carpet bomb all of your clients with, hey, I'm looking for referrals, blah, blah, blah. But it comes across as less genuine.
Correct.
And it comes across as, even though you're telling everyone, it comes across as less effort as well.
Yeah.
Like you're not really putting in, you're just telling everyone.
Yeah. And most people aren't going to probably even listen to what you're saying. Where if you really focus on your favorites and you make them feel special about it,
the people that are listening to you already.
Right. They're going to help put the effort in with the effort you just put in with them. And I would imagine you would see that work much better. But you can actually have you can gauge that, right? You'd see who's coming back in and you'd have a way to see if that is you get results from it.
Gotcha.
Just tripped over my words there. Sorry.
That's okay. No one's criticizing you today.
Oh, thank you.
At least I'm not.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
So what are some things that people could do to incentivize or prompt somebody? So I sit down in your chair, you're cutting my hair, and you're like, hey, Todd, you're a great client. I'd love to get more clients like you. Mm-hmm. That's flattering. But what could somebody do? Is there anything, we're not big on discounts, but is there anything that somebody could do to sort of incentivize somebody to really sort of increase the chances? Because that does feel good. I get it. But then people go on with busy days and they're not thinking about their haircut anymore once they leave.
Right. So
they might be like, oh yeah, you know what? My friend Luke or whatever, I'll reach out to him. He would be a great client for you. Let me get to him and then get back to you. And then I go about my day and I get a flat tire and then I forget about Luke and then I forget about you and whatever.
Right.
So is there something that people out there could do to incentivize or to stay in front of people?
That's a great question. I don't know if I have an answer on that one.
So I do, just popped into my head because we talk about this often. But what about a follow-up?
Yeah.
So you could follow up a week later, 2 weeks later, whatever, with your client. Hey, I was just thinking about you again. Here's a link to have any referrals reach out to me, and I don't know, give you I don't know. So, what could you give somebody?
So this is what I would do for the giveaway portion.
It doesn't have to be a giveaway either, but
it's just my
go ahead, talk. So I'll stop.
Right. I mean, every color line or every product line you have has some sort of a treatment that's attached to it. And usually, it costs whatever at your salon. And I think that is a really easy thing to offer a client. It also, hopefully, if they've never had it, it might introduce them to something new that you offer. So hey, if Luke comes in, the next time I do your hair, I can easily put this treatment on your hair. And most treatments now don't take any extra time. So it's not like you'd have to book for it, which makes it really seamless, to be honest. And you could even tell them a little bit about the treatment. And they'll be like, wow, that sounds amazing. And if now, because everybody wants to be the main character in their own story, you're telling them what this treatment will do for their hair, they're most likely going to try to get someone in your chair because they want that treatment on their hair. So it really becomes full circle there. Or I'll do a scalp scrub on you or something that you have that maybe you don't do often, but would make their experience better when they come in. And it's just a way to say thank you. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I like that. What else could we do with referrals? Nothing? No, I'm just kidding.
Do their hair when they come in. Give them a great client experience so they'll come back.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. So with your referrals, don't just automatically assume that person is your client because somebody referred them.
Right.
The show starts when that client shows up. And you need to do your best to retain that client. Mm-hmm. Because all the clients in the world could be coming into your business, but if you're not retaining anyone, referrals, Facebook, none of that matters if your retention is
referrals to
subpar.
Me are really when you get those, it's amazing because first of all, they're going to come in with a level of trust because you do their friend's hair. So you kind of get a one-up on that. And hopefully it helps your own anxiousness with a new client kind of come to a low because they're going to trust you. And then now you have to deliver, right? And the other part is you have a person in common. So it makes talking to them really easy. They're already trusting you. And then now it's just giving them the best client experience and your technical ability that you've showed up with and just killing it. And that is on you. You have to do that or they're not coming back. And then your referral system doesn't even matter.
Yeah. It's really interesting because I think I think the hard part when we have conversations about even podcast topics or things like that, the hard part for us, not the hard part, but it's everyone has like a limit to how many steps they'll perform.
Mm-hmm.
So say you're like, okay, I'll tell everyone that I'm looking for more clients, but then you stop at that. You're not going to be as successful as the person that dials in and focuses on the specific clients they want.
Right.
From there, you have the people that are willing to do that step, but when the person comes in, they're not willing to go above and beyond with their customer service.
Right.
Then you have the people that are willing to do that, but they're not willing to do the follow-up because that's weird. Why would I email a client after?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? I think that's a big part of growth and how fast somebody can grow.
Right.
Because
and putting in the effort.
Yeah, putting in that effort is, I think, the
That's
underlying biggest factor.
If you're not seeing success, you really need to ask yourself, what effort are you truly putting in?
Yeah, we've talked about that before. I don't remember in what specific situation, but yeah, if you're, I don't have an example, but like if you're, not, I'll stop. Let's move on because
Okay.
I'm trying to save something that I'm not going to be able to save because I don't remember what I was going to say.
All good.
All right. So the next thing we want to talk about was getting out into the real world.
Yes.
So we talk a lot about online stuff. We talk a ton about Instagram, which is reach, like organic reach on Instagram is down. There's no if, ands, or buts about it. Everyone's saying the same thing. It's just, it's down.
Yep.
So Facebook right now seems to be up. I know, love him or hate him, Gary Vee talks a lot about Facebook. He actually was talking about Reels. I think I saw it the other day. Whatever. You've got to try different stuff.
Right.
And one of those things is to go back to sort of old school, I guess, which would be like the physical world that we live in, not the digital world.
Right.
So talk about that. Like, what could people do? And we've had people have luck with this in our salon in the past.
Yep.
But this is a difficult one to keep up with because it takes effort.
It does. And
this takes a little more effort.
So we would always do it as I'd kind of have like a game, and I would always send people out like in mini groups, so you don't feel like it's all on you. But, say they have some downtime in the salon, get 2 or 3 people with some business cards and send them out, go grab a coffee, talk to some people in there and tell them you do hair. Tell them, you want to do their hair. They may have a hairdresser, but if their hairdresser or barber is out one day, they need a backup and they might remember because they met you in person. So this, though, gets tricky, right? Because if you're going to go out into the community, you sort of need to look the part, like what you want to put yourself together. This is a professional thing. If you're going to go out and greet people like, hey, I'd love to do your hair, you want to look like you're going to do hair. So I wouldn't suggest on a Sunday when you're in your sweatpants, but also, I guess if you're at a coffee shop and it gets in the conversation, go for it. But I'm talking about putting in the effort and you go out and maybe you're having lunch at the 99 and you see the hostess there and she looks like a potential person you'd want to do their hair. Maybe you do their hair complimentary because you're like, hey, so many people are seeing you every single day in and day out. I would love to do your hair if in return you would tell people that I did your hair. This is where I work and hand out my card for me. That would help me grow my business. That is one way to do it. Again, go to some of your local businesses and talk to the owner. Like, hey, I do hair in the community and I, trying to grow my clientele. I would be more than happy to kind of come up with some sort of a relationship here. Maybe you guys do exchange. Like I'll tell people about your coffee shop. You tell people that I do hair or whatever. But it is now getting out into the public and talking to people in real time, which is uncomfortable for a lot of people. But
so that's what I was going to ask. So say somebody's listening and they're like, wow, that sounds great, except I'm not comfortable talking to people. What would you tell that person?
So I think...
You want to grow your business or not?
Yeah, like I get it. You are probably in the hair setting. So now I'm putting you out into it's not comfortable. But so again, this is where I say arrive at your best self because somebody's probably going to be like, I love your hair. And the minute they say, I love your hair, oh, well, I do hair. I work over here. Like, or I love your shirt. Wear the apparel from the salon that you work at or the barbershop you're at. Because someone would be like, oh, that's cool. I've heard of that place. Like, you'd be surprised at how many people almost kind of are trying to engage if you have like a vibe about you that people want to. Like, I have this big ass coat that I love, and every time I wear it, someone's like, I love that coat. So if somebody says to me, I love that coat, and I'm trying to build my business, be like, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you should come check out my salon. Like, we all dress really cute like this and whatever. Like, however you want to bring people in. But like, if you kind of go out there and people give you compliments, and that's the easiest way to have that conversation. I think the other part would be, as if it is difficult for you, then I would sort of maybe approach talking to the owner or someone that works there and being like, hey, I'm trying to grow my clientele. And again, that goes back to, you know, you're at your local coffee shop and this girl's pouring your coffee. Like, would you let me do your hair? And then you can tell people that come in, you know, where you get your hair done. So you can kind of use other people to be your mouthpiece in that sense.
Yeah. Okay. So to take it a step further, I love what you said, but if you want to get more comfortable with talking to people,
you have to do it.
You're never going to not benefit from that skill.
Right.
Something that I've done, and it might sound silly, but we're at the grocery store, one or two of us, both of us, all of us, several times a week. Yeah. We have 3 kids and a puppy.
Yeah.
So we're at the grocery store. There's no way around it. But what I did for a while was every time I was at the grocery store, I would find at least 2 people and find a reason to talk to them. Whether it was something like, I like your shirt, or
love that.
To make a joke about something or whatever. Sometimes it was helping somebody find something. I've done that.
Yeah.
There was like an elderly woman that couldn't reach something one day, and I was like, this is that scenario that I never thought was real life. But this woman was like, would you mind reaching that for me? And I'm like, did that just happen? I feel like that's like something from a movie or something. Yeah. But I would challenge you to get out there, because what's the worst that's going to happen? You're passing somebody in a grocery store or wherever people convene these days. We actually were at a mall over the weekend, and that was weird. But
that's weird.
Anyways, saying hello, even, hi, how are you? That's a great place to start. So if your goal is to become a better communicator, better conversationalist, start with a basic interaction with a way out. So walking past someone with in the grocery store, you might see them in another aisle, but there's no rule that you have to talk to them or maintain this conversation.
Right.
So saying hello or, hi, how are you? Something like that. How are you doing today? Whatever. And that gives them an opportunity to reply to your question, but they're not like stuck. You're not asking them something like, hey, who you got for tonight's game? Right. Like, you know what I mean? You're not asking anything like complex or requiring very much thought, but you're just getting used to breaking the ice and beginning a conversation.
Right.
And again, I think that's an undervalued part of business in general. Not just in hair, but any business. Agreed. You have to be able to communicate and express yourself so that you can be effective with whatever it is. You know, sometimes it's saying no to somebody. Mm-hmm. If you can't have a conversation, it's very difficult to say no.
Right.
So that person that's trying to sell you ads is going to keep showing up because you can't say no.
Right.
And you're like, I don't know what they don't get. I'm never going to buy these ads. They don't get that you're never going to buy the ads because you just won't say no.
Yeah, you have to tell them that.
So funny stuff. What else do we have? So getting out into the real world. I like that. I think that's a great thing too. You can collaborate with other businesses. There's all sorts of things. So for example, I know a guy that owned a gym. So this could work for hair, certain services, right? Maybe a color service. But what this guy did was he had gone to a local mechanic. And he was thinking about solving problems for people. People need things like oil changes, right? Tire checks, whatever they need. So what he did at his gym was he collaborated with the local mechanic. And when you got to your gym, you would talk to the person at the desk and you would drop off your keys. That person would call the mechanic. The mechanic would come pick the car up. And before you were done with your class, your car was returned. Your keys are at the front desk and you've got a fresh oil change.
Super cool.
Yeah, it's a way to bring 2 businesses together and solve problems for people.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that might work for if you have a mechanic that's close enough to your salon. There you go.
Right.
Oil changes. Well, if you're there for 2 hours, an oil change doesn't take 2 hours.
Right.
So somebody could come get that vehicle.
Yep.
You know, and
Just
maybe
waste a network.
Maybe there's an upcharge for it because of the convenience factor or whatever, but you're helping people. Because otherwise they would have to drop their car off, figure out how to get to your salon, or drop it off after, or sit there with it. So there's value there.
For sure.
You're helping people and you're exposing your business to other businesses and their clientele as well. But you're coming from a place of like genuinely trying to help people. You're not just like dropping in and putting your card on their community board and expecting to get in front of all their people, but you do nothing.
Right.
You don't bring anything to the table, you know? All right. So the last point I had, and we already sort of talked about it, was effort. I don't think any of these things work without effort.
Correct.
That doesn't mean you might not get lucky with something, but we talked about that a little bit too. Do you have anything else to add?
I think the only
Oh, she does.
I do. Just I guess we talked about it a little bit in the front, and I don't know if the beginning of the episode, I don't know if we circle back, but from a business owner standpoint, for attracting clients, what we do, we use we use ping pong, right? To
show sponsor. Yep.
And then we use some marketing strategies through our software. And that would be not really on a stylist, but on the owner side, those are things they can do, making their website more Google friendly to get in front of more people all the time through the internet, obviously.
Gotcha. So we just talked about some things that would work for hair pros, but not necessarily owners. Yeah. Owners could take things a step further. So Correct. If you're an owner, what you want to do is encourage your team. And by encourage, I mean lead. Yes. Figure out how to do the Facebook thing. Figure out how to do the referrals thing. Figure out how to get out into the real world. And then teach your staff that.
Right.
But then also invest in some digital marketing.
Right.
Invest in an optimized website.
Yep.
Invest in... What was the other thing you said?
The website and the ping pong. I think that...
Was that it? I feel like...
And they could do a lot of what you just were talking about, which was that small business to small business and getting those relationships started too.
Yeah. As an owner, it might be easier for you to break the ice and say, hey, what if I sent some of my staff in to meet with some of your staff and see, like, whatever.
Yeah.
You might be able to facilitate those things. Yeah. Great points. Again, that takes effort and time.
Right.
So if you're the stylist that owns the business that's constantly working behind the chair and you're burnt out and you can't do that stuff, you've got to figure that out first.
Yes.
We can probably help with that. All right. Is that it?
That's it.
That's all we got?
Yep.
All right. Well, this episode was brought to you by our friends at Ping Pong Design and Marketing. If you want to love your website or you're looking for more clients to fill your business, reach out to Chris and the Ping Pong team. They're offering our audience a special discount. Visit the show notes and talk to Chris about your needs. What's our call to action? How about leave a review? Can we have people leave a review for the podcast?
I would imagine.
What did you tell me to do? Make a video?
Hit 5 stars. If you're listening, just hit 5 stars. That helps.
Yes. If you're on Apple, scroll down. I don't know why it's at the middle or 3/4 of the way down, but if you scroll down a little bit through the episodes, you'll see 5 stars.
Yes.
We would love, I don't know what it looks like on Spotify.
Well, you'll have to take a look.
I think those are our 2 biggest platforms. That would help a ton. Yes. So thank you for that. Do that.
We're here if you need us.
I would appreciate it. And that's it. Let's get out of here.
Have a great day.
Going to blow my nose. Bye.